Hello, and welcome to Conversations with Christopher. Today we have Jonathan Boris with us. He's the president of Pittsburgh IT, the group who's been handling all of our IT needs for probably 15 years now.
Quite a bit of time.
Yeah, making sure our computers all work. So thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So just a little bit about, I'm not going to call you Jonathan because unless you'd like me to use your formal name.
No, that's okay. But, you go by John most of the time.
I was going to say, I've known you long enough, I can call you John. So John is now the president and CEO of Pittsburgh IT. He grew up in the South Hills of Pittsburgh, and he still lives there. He's married to his wonderful wife, Katie, and has two beautiful daughters, Bella and Madison, who I've seen tons of pictures of. And it seems like you guys have lots of fun out hiking and biking and whatever you're doing out in the woods a lot.
Lots of outdoor stuff.
Lots of, yeah. So John's been in the IT industry for almost 15 years. Started out as a help desk technician and customer service specialist and worked his way up to president. And Pittsburgh IT is an MSP, which is a managed service provider for those of us who don't get acronyms, designed for small and mid-sized businesses, focusing on proactive support to reduce daily issues and lightning fast help desk response in times of triage to issues that they can prevent. So, and as I said, they've been handling our stuff for 15 years, and that's exactly what they do for us. They make sure that we stay out of trouble and everything's fixed before we even know there's a problem. So, so again, thanks for being here today.
Again, thank you for having me.
Yeah. And so we started these as a way to just check in with business owners that we know, see how things are going during the COVID and how it's impacting your business. So how are things going?
Actually great. Since this all started back in March, the COVID stuff, all of my clients have most of them have been still successful. A couple of them are still hanging on. One of them's a travel agency, so you know, their business is kind of tough right now, but they've been around for a long time, so I expect them to be around for a long time as well. So personally, all of my clients are still healthy and up and running, so that keeps me healthy and up and running too.
Are there challenges you're seeing, especially in the cybersecurity world and with people working from home? I know that's a concern for a lot of large companies, maybe not so much smaller ones, but it seems like an issue all the time.
I haven't had any bigger issues yet, you know, fingers crossed. I think most of the problems that I see is people kind of letting their guard down, and their home networks not being secure. You definitely need to have a password on your home Wi-Fi, because if you don't, anybody that's around in the neighborhood can just jump on there and then get access to your computer or anything there. But it's the, you know, your access. Most people at this point are working from home. Hopefully they have a work computer. Hopefully it's maintained by their IT department from the business, so that way it's, you know, getting updates all the time, and it has antivirus software. Hopefully they're using a VPN to connect to the network back in the office, so that nothing's being stored or accessed locally on that computer at your home. But if you can't do any of that stuff, you don't have access to any of that stuff, it's really being smart about the emails you're opening. Any attachments that look suspicious, any links that look suspicious in those emails, if you don't expect them and you don't know if they're safe or not, ask somebody, ask your IT department, ask somebody else that maybe has a better idea of whether that's a safe document. So I think it's just kind of being educated. I think most of, if not all of the viruses or scams that I've seen come through since even the last year, but especially the last 6 months, have been through email. And so that's kind of where you have to be extra cautious at this point. Just know what you're opening, know what you're clicking on, know what you're downloading.
And password is not a good password, right?
That is correct. Password is no longer a good password.
Okay,
The more
I'll fix that.
complex, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't work yet. Password 1, is that better?
Password 1 is not good anymore either. No.
Okay.
I have actually still have. I had a lot of those up until last year or two, and we went through and kind of pushed people into. They need to be more complex than that. You can't use the same password across 20 different websites and VPNs and emails, and like you need to kind of vary them a little bit. But you definitely need to use a password that's more random than, fluffy 5, which is the one you've been using since emails created back in the mid 90s. Can we say complex passwords? If it's something that you need to type in every day, try to add a capital letter, lowercase letters, numbers, special characters, have it be at least 8 characters long. That's harder if you need to remember it, but if you don't need to remember it and it's just something that you have to type in one time, make it 16 characters and have no words in it and just a bunch of just random characters and numbers. That's going to be very hard for somebody to hack into. It's too random. The chances of somebody hacking that are very, very, very slim. And then changing the password frequently could help you be a little more cautious and a little more safe too. But typically, if you're in the 16 character range and it's completely randomized, you're usually pretty safe.
Now, have you seen an increase in the emails that you were talking about, or people trying to get into people's computers now that they are working from home? Has that been a trigger for hackers to think this might be an opportunity?
I haven't actually personally seen a ton more of it. I'm assuming there probably are. I think kind of the way that, because since these email virus scams, the ones there were a lot around a couple years ago where they would send you a file or a zip file and you'd open it and it would encrypt all of your data on the computer. And then if you were attached to a server, it would encrypt all of the data on the server drives you had access to as well. There's been a lot in terms of antivirus protection with that, updates through Windows that have prevented a lot of from coming through. And from the clients I have, we've tried to be proactive, saying, look, when you're looking at emails and you don't know where it's from, ask us first. I don't mind, and that's what we're here for. Ask me if the email's okay to open. Ask me if the attachment's okay to open before you open it, because once you open it and it encrypts all of your data or causes a huge virus, there's going to be a lot bigger issues that we're going to be concerned with. So I haven't necessarily seen a ton more of those. That may also be because of maybe my clients being maybe a little more well educated on to not open those. I know I get a couple from you guys every couple weeks. Should I open this? Nope, don't open it. Open it.
Yeah, it's weird because you see those and they're close enough, and I know there's little things that you can look for, but it's amazing to me how real some of these look.
And that's the scary part. Is the confusing part, maybe even more so, is it'll say Christopher Musanegi as the contact name. But if you look at the actual email address, it'll say, 12345 at janedoe.com. And that's how you know that it's not from Christopher Musanegi, because the actual email address does not match. It doesn't say Christopher at mfgplanners.com. And that's the number one telltale giveaway that what's being sent to you is fake.
So have you had an increase in business now that people aren't working from inside the office? Is there a higher need, like people realizing that they probably don't have the right antivirus and things like that, especially if they're working from a home computer?
I haven't had an increase in new business. Initially, when this all started, I would say my clients were probably 50-50. You know, I have one of my clients is a dentist, so they have to work from the office. There's no work from home there. And a couple of my other clients, I know I helped you guys get a couple more people working from home. You know, we got a couple more VPN connections when this all first started. And after that, it was kind of more back to status quo, I think. I have one client who is pretty much working from home. Everybody is, except for maybe one person at a time in the office. So initially, I had to help get them, you know, they had a couple spare computers. We had them set up. They could take them home, you know, get them connected to VPN from there. So that was initially more work. My other clients kind of always worked 50-50 from home and from the office anyway. So they were just kind of ready to go. But yeah, so it's at first it was more work, but it's pretty much back to normal at this point.
What's something you feel most people don't exactly understand about why they should be working with an MSP? I mean, obviously we've been doing it for years, so we get it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people out there who I don't think understand exactly the value.
Yeah, and I think the easiest way to kind of describe it is time equals money. You know, it's your job is to be a financial planner. You know, somebody else's job is to be an insurance agent. Somebody else's is a travel agent. My job is to take care of your IT needs. And you know, I got these questions ahead of time, so I was kind of thinking about it. And the one thing I thought of is, you know, for what the cost of a managed service provider, at least me, for, you know, a monthly fee is probably less than most people pay a part-time employee on a month-to-month basis or a yearly basis. And the fact that you don't have to worry about your IT needs at all, you know, I take care of everything. I plan everything out. I make sure everything's working properly. I make sure you have your antivirus software up and running. I make sure your network's functioning properly. You know, make sure all the updates are done on your computers. You know, I help plan out future projects, computer upgrades, server issues. And if you have issues, you know, we have a help desk that is either answering the phone call the first time you call or getting back to you pretty soon thereafter. So instead of you know, kind of trying to figure out the issues on your own and wasting time away from doing the things you do best, I take care of it. And that saves a lot of stress and time on your end. And it makes you more profitable in the long run.
Yeah, I don't think people realize we look at you as an extension of the office. You're like another, you know, you don't work for us per se. I mean, you have your company, you don't work inside, but you really are just another extension of, and everybody here looks at you like, you know, you're sitting in the cube next to them, even though, you know, you're not, because
Right.
that's how, you know, the relationship we have. And as you said, it makes it so much easier when somebody says, hey, this isn't working. And my response is, okay, call John. Because
Right.
I'm not IT. I'm certainly not going to fix it.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. I think that's probably the best part of it. I think you're right. And the benefit of that is you're not paying Social Security. You know, you're not paying taxes on it. You're not paying me benefits. It's, you know, you pay a monthly fee, and I take care of all your IT needs, and I'm there whenever you need me. And you know, I think it's a huge deal for a company when they don't. If something big does arise, if there is a big issue, they're not scrambling to try to get somebody in there last minute who they don't have a relationship with to fix a big problem or a big mistake. You have somebody that's ready to go, on call, waiting for you to say, oh, whoops, there's a big whoops, you know, please help.
So, you know, what would somebody expect the first time they talk to you, or what's some things that you know, you talk about in that first meeting with somebody?
It's really just about what your needs are. What are you looking for? What's your network look like? What's your environment look like? What are your needs right now, and what are they going to be in the future? And kind of setting expectations for sorry, I lost you there. Setting the expectations for what you're looking for from an IT company. You know, IT's hard. At times, you know, people don't want to necessarily spend money for a good IT company. They just want to, you know, pay for somebody rights as they need them and not keep them kind of on call, like on a retainer, basically. But you know, you're getting a lot more from a company like mine when you're, you know, getting backups done on every hour on the hour, and they're being saved off site, so you never lose your data. And that's a beneficial thing. So I'd go over kind of everything that I have to offer somebody, ask them what they are looking for in an IT company, what their actual needs are, and we go from there. Really, just kind of figure out what everybody's needs are and their wants, and you know, kind of get the lay of the land.
Yeah, because I imagine everybody's going to be slightly different. I mean, obviously the things that a dentist needs and the software and things that they're using are going to be certainly different than what we use and the programs we use, and so their computer hard drive needs and all that stuff's going to be different.
Yeah, everybody, you know, there's obviously HIPAA stuff when you're working in the medical field that you have to worry about. So, you know, there's certain requirements with how everything's kept on the computers and the servers. You know, you guys have your own requirements too from the financial industry that we have to be aware of at all times. Yeah, you know, different size hard drives, different internet speeds. Everybody's different, so it's really, you know, what do you guys need? What do I need to help you to get you to where you need to be if you're not there already, and how do we keep you there?
All right. Well, then our last question, which is always something just fun. So I'm told it is National Cookie Month. So
Cookie Month.
What's your favorite type of cookie?
Oh, that's a tough one.
So many to choose from.
We play cookies in this house. It's funny that I never get them anymore because I don't know anybody that makes them. It's oatmeal cookie. Just a plain oatmeal. I don't like raisins in them necessarily, but just a plain oatmeal cookie. And if I can't get that, it's usually just a chocolate chip. But there's a lot of good bakeries around here, and they have you know, a lot of good gourmet cookies, like a cranberry chocolate chip mix sometimes every once in a while. But yeah, oatmeal, I like my plain oatmeal cookies and chocolate chips, so I can get it. You know, I actually like cookie dough better, just raw cookie dough. So if I get chocolate chip cookie dough, it's kind of my favorite way to eat it. Sonic makes a terrific milkshake, the cookie dough milkshake. That's it's been a quarantine favorite in this house.
Yeah, I'm always partial. I like that. I like a good simple Oreo.
Or the kids love Oreos in this house, so unfortunately for me, that means that we're, you know, I like the icing better, so I'll take 2 double stuffs, and I'll take one of the wafers off and smush them together, so it's like a quadruple stuff. You're wasting the 2 wafers, so you can have them. I just want the cream.
Well, there you go, folks. Take 2 double stuffs and squish them together. That's the moral of the story today.
If you need more of the cream in the middle, just take 2 and stuff them together. They actually make them now. They're called mega stuffs, and they're actually it's like a quadruple. It's like that much icing in the middle of it.
Sometimes, you know, they just take things a bit too far.
Yeah, well, I'm probably the only person that ate them. They don't make them anymore.
Well, just wanted to say thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it. If those of you watching this would like to reach out to John and learn a little bit more about what they do, his information's here on the screen. But if you go to pgh-it.com, you can find him and learn more about him. But yeah, please feel free to reach out and talk to him. I always tell people it doesn't cost anything to just get some good information and learn something. And you know, if it makes sense to work together, then great. But especially something this important, protecting your computer, protecting your IT, with all the cyber stuff that's out there. This is a huge thing for people. And again, that's why we're thankful we've got you on our side and have for years. And keep us safe. So thank you for that, and thanks for joining us today. And have a nice week.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on here, and it's been great working with you guys for as long as we have been, and we'll keep it rolling in the future too.
All righty. Well, thanks everybody, and keep an eye out for our next edition, which will be coming out here soon. And if you have questions or comments, feel free to email us. And thanks again for tuning in.